Hello everybody, welcome again to my YouTube channel. Sarah here with you. Today is gonna be about manga frames, or let's make it manga planning. So if you're asking me just about this is just something that I did out of the blues, and I was like doing, a book. I'm imagining how it would look like if I made my 200 or 220 pages manga, how it would look like. So yeah, but as you can see, there's really nothing inside this thing. It's completely empty. Every time I finish a page, I print it out and put it in this really nice, awesome, cool book. Anyways, let's start by talking about the first steps of planning a manga. So I do episodes, or like small proportions at a time. So first of all, I have like a certain idea in my mind about my manga. Now, since I'm writing and drawing, I don't have any problems with the whole idea of imagining the events. But if like there was like two people like writing and then probably another one who was drawing, those guys gotta work it out together. Like the writer need to explain to the person who draws how he wants or how he imagines the events going. So the person who would draw would have a clear image of what he's supposed to do. Otherwise, you're gonna give something to a guy and he have no idea, and he will start just come up with something completely different. And this is where the writer sort of like plays a big and important part, which is like telling the person or the artist to draw like how you want your events to go. Like very, very important for the writer to kind of explain or to tell his point of view of where or how he wants his work to be like. It's very, very important. Artists also are very important people, and probably artists do have more of a different or more difficult actually time, because art just takes so long. Take it from a person who writes and draws at the same time. For example, an episode like episode 4 for me like took 30 minutes to finish, because I already like imagined the whole story and I just wrote it down, took the parts I didn't need and stuff like that. And then when it comes to drawing, it could take, for me, sometimes a page could take like 2 days just finishing the whole idea. It's like front and back. So here it is, like front and back, as you can see. This is wonderful if you're like doing front and back stuff. So first thing you gotta do, you guys, is write down like your story, whether you like it to do like small proportions or whether you like it to do like in big proportions is really up to you. I like doing it like a bit by bit, so every time, I could have like a certain idea yesterday, but then I would like to add some more events. So if I wrote the whole story and then I want to add like an extra event, it will mess up the whole story. So I like to take it like step by step, which is a kind of a cool process. You don't get kind of bored when you're doing like a step-by-step process. You're always like thinking of new stuff, which makes the whole ordeal so fun. Of course, every time like I do a picture is like I put like a line like this, so I know this is done so far, or this stuff is done. And sometimes when I'm drawing, I even could take some parts which I don't need. So let's go to manga planning or framing. This really, as I said, if you were a person who like already have like a certain vision in your mind and you're already the writer, you won't have any problems in making a manga. For manga framing, there isn't really a certain type of pattern you can follow. As you can see here, there is like a box here, and then like the conversation is going over here, and then it's just jumping over here. The figures, they're not like disconnected in some way, they're completely linked. When I mean disconnected, there's no like line separating the figures from each other. And then you have like another one, which is like boxes. They're not like in certain sizes, but as you can see here, this is not exactly a square or rectangular type of box, but it really depends. Sometimes an image, or there are some certain situations that will take up the whole image of the drawing. You know what I mean? And this is like the classic type of pattern, which is like boxes, closed boxes. I don't know. I don't really follow like a certain pattern in my drawing. Like for say here, you can see how this is going. It's like going not in a certain shape like this, and you probably won't see that a lot because I just like I cut my pictures down into bits and parts, which kind of makes the whole page look or page shape disappear. Here's another one. This probably did not appear in my videos before, this whole image. As you can see here, there is like 3 pictures up here. Okay, here there are the 3 pictures up here. Here is like the whole main event, and there is like it's continuing down here, and there is like Leon. Okay, you can see him like he's appearing from down here. So it's kind of a good idea if you're like doing like big main events to concentrate on them. Now that like will take like a big chunk of the page. This one I like did this image, and then I had like a small part, so I didn't have any choice but to put something inside, and this is where I put this little image here. So it really depends on the story, how it goes by. Every page has a different shape. As you can see here, this one is overlaying on this one, and then you have like a line separating them, unlike which is like this. You know, there's like comic book styles here. So manga really doesn't really have a certain pattern to follow. You know, the type of pattern you feel you should do. You should follow that pattern, whether it was like normal comic style or whether it was something like parts overlaying other kind of events. See? Like this. This is all I have to say for you guys. And there's like certain stuff that I like. For say there's this cry of help, which is like help. So much she's really scared and frightened, and she's like concentrating on help. So it's like she wants to scream it out loud, and since we're already making a manga, we can't make our characters talk, so we want to concentrate or just show how much she's screaming, and that's why this little tiny cool shape appears here. Another one also is like when my chief was angry, he just like he did something like, I don't know what this motion is called, but he just put his pencil board on the desk and stop this right now. And I like this shape a lot because it kind of concentrates so much on people who are angry or, as I said, frightened and this kind of stuff. Another thing about manga framing is that the fact that there are actually the effects is written. I've seen this recently. And I think it's a really cool thing, which is if for say a door is closing, so it's like slam, or for say when Chief said, you know, stop this now, there is like stare between those two guys. You know, they have stopped arguing, and then they looked at the Chief like stare. There's a stare going there, and for say that Lisa is turning her head like turn, and there's a little turn here. This is another thing about manga, is that they write down the effects or draw them, and I think that's a really cool thing. I really like the whole idea of writing down the effects of manga. But anyways, you guys, this was just the whole idea on manga framing, on manga planning, you know, and everything like that, because a lot of people, they have a good story in their minds, they come up with characters, but they have no idea how to put it. So you can, as I said, put it in squared comic book like, or you can do it as overlaying. It's really up to you. If you're guys working with 2 people together, the writer has to explain to the person who draws his vision of what he wants. I hope this will help some of you guys out there, especially who asked about frames and stuff, and I will see you in another video. Bye bye.